Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep Dive. So today we're going to tackle a question that seems to be on a lot of people's minds. Uh, is college still worth it?
Yeah, it's a good one.
It is a good one, and you guys have sent in some really interesting stuff. We've got a stack of articles, research, even some personal notes, and we're going to try to help you make sense of it, all right?
Right.
It feels like there's this constant back and forth. Some people say college is like the only path to success. Others say it's a total waste of time and money.
Yeah, it's a very different world out there now. It's not as simple as it used to be.
Yeah, it's a lot more complicated. So let's start with the classic argument, shall we? The case for college.
Sure.
One statistic that really jumps out from the research is that Americans with a college degree earn something like $570,000 more over their lifetime.
Wow. Yeah, that's a huge amount of money.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and it points to kind of a broader trend. College grads not only earn more, but they also tend to have a much better work-life balance.
Oh, interesting.
Things like, more vacation time, better benefits, maybe even the ability to work remotely.
Well, that's nice.
These are the kind of perks that can really make a difference in your quality of life.
Right. It's not just about the money. It's about having more control and just more options.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so we've got the money. We've got the lifestyle. What about social mobility?
Ah, yeah, that's a good one.
Because your sources highlighted how crucial a college degree can be for people who come from disadvantaged backgrounds,
Yeah, it can be a real game changer.
right? It's like that ticket out of poverty idea.
Exactly.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the sources you sent in was this Georgetown study, and it found that something like 65% of U.S. jobs require at least some college.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean, some college?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. The study breaks it down even further, and it shows that the specific level of education you need, it can vary a lot
Okay,
across different fields.
interesting.
So, some professions might need a full 4-year degree, right? Others might only need an associate's degree or even just a specific certification.
Huh.
So it's not just about like having any old college experience. You got to have the right credentials for the career you want.
So you really have to be strategic about your choices.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we've got to keep that in mind. And then there's the whole question of automation,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
One of
yeah.
your articles was talking about how robots are coming for certain jobs.
Right. Yeah, that's a big one.
It is a big one. So if we're thinking long term,
Mhm.
it seems like we want to aim for those jobs that require critical thinking, creativity,
Yeah.
problem solving, the skills robots can't do.
Exactly. You want to be in that space where you're irreplaceable.
Right. You need to have the brain power
That's right.
so the robots can't take your job.
You got it.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of the benefits of college, but we can't ignore the other side of this debate, right? What about the case against college?
Okay.
Your research brought up some serious concerns, starting with the cost. I mean, $1.5 trillion in student loan debt in the U.S. alone.
It's an insane number.
It's unbelievable.
It is. And tuition's been rising faster than inflation for decades.
Right.
It just keeps getting more and more expensive. So it's understandable why your research brought up things like that UK system.
Yes. That one really caught my eye. Can you explain a little bit about how their system works? It seems very different from what we have here.
Yeah. So in the UK, university tuition is capped by the government, and students, they don't actually start paying back their loans until they hit a certain income level.
Oh, wow.
So it's set up to be a lot more manageable financially. But of course, like any system, there are trade-offs.
So what are the downsides?
Well, one thing is that it often leads to higher taxes, to fund that subsidized education.
Right, makes sense.
So it's not a perfect solution, but it does show there are other ways of approaching this affordability issue.
Yeah, just knowing that there are different ways to do things is really helpful.
Absolutely. It gives us a broader perspective.
Okay, so speaking of different approaches, several of the sources you sent in pointed out that some major tech companies, places like Google and Apple, they don't even require college degrees anymore.
It's true. It's becoming more and more common.
So it seems like that traditional 4-year degree may not be the golden ticket it used to be.
Yeah, especially in certain industries, they're starting to value experience and skills more than just that piece of paper.
Okay, so that's a big shift.
It is.
So if companies like Google aren't even looking at degrees anymore, what does that mean for someone like our listener who's trying to figure out their path?
Well, it means you really need to be thoughtful about your education and your career choices. It's not just about checking that box anymore.
Right.
You've got to understand what specific skills are in demand and how you can actually get them,
Got it.
whether it's through traditional education, alternative programs, even just self-directed learning.
So it's about being proactive and taking control.
Yeah, exactly. You're in the driver's seat.
I like that. And that might even mean exploring some of those online learning platforms we've talked about before.
Right.
Coursera, Udemy, Skillshare. I mean, you can learn everything from coding to photography to business management on those platforms.
It's incredible what's available now.
It is incredible.
And it just highlights the fact that there are so many paths to success. College isn't the only option anymore.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah.
We've got the potential earnings boost and the perks that come with a degree, but also the rising costs and the fact that some companies are moving away from degrees altogether.
It's a lot to process.
It is a lot. And then we've got alternative models like the UK system, the rise of online learning platforms. It's a lot to consider.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing to remember is that these are just pieces of the puzzle.
Okay.
The real question is, how do all of these factors relate to your individual goals and aspirations?
Right. This isn't just a theoretical debate.
Exactly.
It's about your life, your future.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears and start talking about what all of this means for you specifically.
Let's do it.
Okay. Now, from your notes, it seems like you're particularly drawn to creative fields like photography and even starting your own business.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's right. And that's where some of those arguments against like a traditional 4-year college, they start to make a lot of sense.
Okay. Because maybe like a degree in photography, for example, it might not be as valuable as building a portfolio and actually getting some real world experience.
Yeah, exactly. You know, for creative fields, it's all about those demonstrable skills and having like a unique portfolio.
Right. It's not just what, it's what you can actually do.
Right. And actually, one of your articles even suggested that for some people, that rigid structure of a college program, it can actually stifle creativity.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I
I mean, imagine trying to learn photography just from a textbook.
right?
You got to get out there, experiment, make mistakes, develop your own style.
It's about learning by doing, taking risks, pushing those creative boundaries.
So it's a very different type of learning
It is.
than what's traditionally emphasized in the classroom.
Absolutely.
And I guess that applies to entrepreneurship as well.
Oh, for sure.
Those 4 years you spend in college, that could be time spent, building a business, networking, getting that firsthand experience.
Exactly. And you don't even necessarily need like a brick and mortar business anymore.
Right.
Think about all those online businesses that are popping up.
Plus, we have all those amazing online resources that we talked about.
Right.
You could learn photography, business management, marketing, all those essential skills,
All from your laptop.
all from your computer at your own pace
Mhm.
without racking up a mountain of debt.
It's a pretty powerful alternative.
It is okay, but I do want to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Okay.
Even if you don't need a specific degree to get a certain job,
Mm-hmm.
what about the value of just a broader education?
Yeah, that's a good point.
College teaches you how to think critically, how to communicate effectively,
Mhm.
all those essential life skills.
Those are definitely valuable. But the question is college the only place to get them?
You're right. You're right. I mean, you could argue that reading widely, traveling, having deep conversations with people from different backgrounds,
Right.
all those experiences can really broaden your horizons.
And honestly, sometimes being in that college bubble,
Yeah.
surrounded by people who are just like you,
Right.
it can actually limit your exposure to different perspectives.
So maybe it's not an either decision.
Exactly.
It's not college or no college. Maybe it's about finding that balance
I think that's a great way to put it.
between formal education and those real-world experiences.
Yeah, and that's where your personal goals and interests really come into play.
Okay, so let's bring it back to you.
Okay.
We've explored all the pros and cons. We've talked about the changing landscape of work, all the different educational paths that are out there.
Right.
Where do you see yourself fitting into all of this?
Well, if you're really passionate about photography and starting your own business, a traditional 4-year college, it might not be the most direct route
Right.
to actually achieving those goals.
But maybe a shorter program that focuses on, a specific set of skills like graphic design or digital marketing, that could be really helpful.
It could be.
Or maybe you decide to just dive headfirst into building your business learning as you go and seeking out mentors in your field.
That's another great option.
You mentioned apprenticeships and mentorships in your notes.
Did.
That could be an excellent way to get hands-on experience and learn from people who are already doing what you want to do.
Absolutely. And don't forget about those online platforms.
Right.
You can take courses on photography, business management, marketing, even web design.
All those essential skills.
Exactly.
Wow. So it seems like there's a huge range of options available.
You really are.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer anymore.
Yep.
Pretty exciting, but I can imagine it's a little overwhelming too.
It definitely can be, so many choices, so many different paths to consider.
So where do we even begin?
Well, I think it all comes back to those foundational questions we talked about.
Okay.
What are your strengths? What really motivates you? What kind of environment allows you to thrive?
Yeah, answering those questions honestly, that's going to help you navigate this whole decision.
Absolutely, with more clarity and more confidence.
One of the articles you sent in had this quote that I really loved. It said, "Don't let fear or societal pressure dictate your choices.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Make a decision that aligns with your values and aspirations."
So powerful.
It is powerful. Okay, so let's do a quick recap.
Okay.
We've covered the potential financial benefits of a degree, but also that burden of debt.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen that some employers are moving away from requiring degrees, but some still value that traditional credential.
Right.
We talked about the broader educational benefits of going to college,
Yeah.
but also the potential limitations of staying in that bubble.
It's all about finding that balance.
And through all of this, the recurring theme has been self-awareness.
Yes.
You've done the research, you've gathered all the information. Now it's about connecting the dots to what truly resonates with you.
Because at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong answer here.
Right.
It's about finding the path that aligns with your goals, your values, and your aspirations. And that's what makes this whole process so exciting.
And maybe a little daunting.
It can be.
One of your articles put it perfectly. They said, the best decision is the one that feels right for you, not the one that society or anyone else expects of you.
Listen to your gut.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave you with one final thought, something to ponder as you move forward.
Okay, I like it.
What if the real question isn't college or no college? What if it's, how can I become a lifelong learner, adaptable and ready to thrive in a future that's full of unknowns?
Because that's the reality, isn't it?
It is?
The job market is constantly changing. Technology is advancing at an unprecedented pace.
Right.
We can't even predict what the world's going to look like in 5, 10, 20 years.
So maybe the key is not just about choosing a specific path.
Right.
College, trade school, entrepreneurship, whatever it may be.
It's about the mindset.
But choosing a mindset of lifelong learning adaptability and that openness to embrace the unknown.
Because those are the qualities that'll serve you well no matter what the future holds.
So well said. We've covered a lot of ground today, but hopefully this deep dive has given you a clearer perspective on this whole college decision and, more importantly, empowered you to choose the path that's right for you.
Yeah.
It feels like we've really explored every single angle of this question, the financial side of it, the changing job market, those alternative paths, and of course your own passions and interests.
Yeah. And I think throughout our whole conversation, that recurring theme has been, the importance of self-awareness.
Right.
You've done the research, you've gathered all this information, and now it's really about connecting the dots to what feels right for you.
Because at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong answer.
That's right.
It's all about finding that path that aligns with your goals, your values, your aspirations. And, honestly, I think that's what makes this whole process so exciting.
It is exciting.
And maybe a little daunting, too.
Yeah, it can be a lot to take in.
One of the articles you sent in, I think they said it perfectly. They said the best decision is the one that feels right for you, not the one that society or anyone else expects of you.
So true. You really have to tune out all that outside noise and just listen to your gut.
Listen to that inner voice. So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave you with one final thought.
Sure.
Something to ponder as you move forward on this journey. What if the real question isn't college or no college? What if the question is, how can I become a lifelong learner, adaptable and ready to thrive in a future full of unknowns?
Because that's the reality. The world is changing so fast.
It is.
The job market's constantly evolving. Technology's advancing at an unprecedented pace. We can't even begin to predict what things are going to look like in 5, 10, 20 years.
Right. So maybe the key here isn't just about choosing one specific path.
Yeah.
Whether it's college, trade school, entrepreneurship, whatever. Maybe it's about choosing a mindset.
A mindset of lifelong learning.
Yeah, exactly. Adaptability and that openness to embracing the unknown.
Because those are the qualities that are really going to serve you well no matter what the future holds.
It's about being curious, being open to new experiences, and really seeing those challenges as opportunities for growth.
And remember, you're not alone in this journey.
Yeah.
There are so many resources out there, mentors, communities to support you every step of the way.
Reach out, ask questions, connect with those people who inspire you.
You got this.
You've got this. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the big question of, is college still worth it?
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it helpful.
Mm.
Remember, it's your future, your journey. So trust yourself, explore those options, and choose the path that feels right for you. We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.